What's good, you guys? We are back for another epic, crazy banger of a video. Today I'm gonna just talk about a few things that I do to stop myself from getting beat block. I don't even really feel like beat block exists, but I see a lot of people getting burnt out, getting bored, or just not knowing what to make when they open up FL. So here's a few ways that I keep things feeling new, even when I make beats all day. One of the most helpful things for me is always having new sounds to play with. Whether it's getting new VSTs, getting new banks for the VSTs I have, getting drum kits or one-shot kits or whatever, I feel like it's just helpful having new things to try out. You know, whenever I get a new kit, then I'll usually end up testing it out, going through, and I feel like I really just let the sounds that I go through inspire me to make whatever I make, rather than just opening up FL keys and having to make a million midis. I'm really just going through presets or going through drum sounds, and when I hear a sound that inspires me, then I'll come up with an idea based off that sound. So if we're in FL, I have a couple plugins and I have a couple kits too. I probably have like a terabyte of kits. I know that sometimes it can be difficult money-wise to get VSTs, or you know, you might not be able to find kits, but you can find ways. You can find ways to get those VSTs. I'm not condoning anything, but you know, you gotta do what you gotta do. And with drums and one-shots, even though I do appreciate when people like buy the kits I have, there's also a lot of free kits that other people make that are out there. You know, I've put out a lot of free kits. Put a link in the description to the drum kit I made that has like a million free sounds, and just from going around online, I bet you can find a bunch of new sounds to play around with. And I feel like that's really helpful because it's easy to feel boxed in just by, you know, like the limited amount of sounds you have. But if you really go out there and find new stuff, like that's, I'd say the number one reason why I don't get uninspired is because, like I said, I just let the sound create the idea for me. You know, I just hear a preset and I'm like, oh, I could hear this melody with it. Or, you know, I hear an 808 and then I'm like, oh, I could hear this type of beat around it. The next thing you can do is try building beats or melodies around acapellas. If you guys want to find acapellas for songs, you can just find them on YouTube. Just look up an artist that you like and then put acapella after it, and then find a way to download it off of YouTube. I don't condone that either, but you'll find a way. But yeah, let's try looking up Lil Uzi acapella. And look at that, a bunch of results. I'm gonna just pick one and then we'll get in FL and build something around it. All right, we got the acapella for Loaded by Uzi. A lot of them already have the BPM on them, but if not, you can just look up the BPM of the song, and then you just have to listen to the acapella and like sync it up with the metronome. Now, I just pitched down the acapella one because I don't want to deal with copyright stuff. I don't know if that'll help, but hopefully I can still get my $2 from YouTube. But one of the reasons why I like building around acapellas like this is because if you make something around an acapella, there's already vocals, so you're naturally gonna not overcomplicate stuff as much. Like as producers, it's really easy to make a beat and in the process kind of forget that you want an artist on it, which there's nothing wrong with that, but you're limiting yourself to how many artists can really get on a beat if you're putting like 80 billion sounds in it. Because sure, there's artists who will use those crazy beats, but if you want to make really universal stuff, it's good having that template of like, all right, I need to leave this much space for an artist. But yeah, let's see what we make. Just route this to a mixer channel. And I'm gonna pull up a bass from Contact. The Rickenbacker bass in Contact is so crazy. I'm kind of addicted to it. And it sounds good as a guitar too if you pitch it up. But yeah, I'm gonna just put in some bass notes and then build around that. Watch me blow, come shit when I'm born, that you can't afford. Loaded. My diamond ain't frozen. Loaded. My diamond ain't frozen. Back it low. My diamond ain't frozen. Back it low. Diamond chain ain't glow. My diamond ain't frozen. Back it low. Diamond chain ain't glowing. And they showing. My diamond ain't frozen. Back it low. Diamond chain ain't glowing. Alright, a little life hack here. If you want to add chords to something, just copy the bass notes and then go up 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and it'll work. And then from there you can just add more notes. As you can see, even now, we could really remove the acapella if we wanted to and just make it a full beat. Like, it's fine to make it a remix, but what I like doing is once I get to this point where it's like more of a fleshed out idea, then I'll just mute the acapella and make it like a normal beat, and the acapella just helped us start an idea. Because if you just hear the beat without the acapella, you would never know that it was made around that acapella. Like, especially, you know, let's say we pitch it and change the BPM. Like, we don't even have to do all that, but just as an example, we pitch it down 2 and then we slow down the BPM some, it's gonna be a completely different sounding beat than the original song. This is another thing I like doing, is just putting random effects on stuff and seeing what it turns into. But yeah, let's see what this does. But yeah, that's a way that if you're feeling burnt out, you can still come up with something, because I feel like having, like I said, having that framework of vocals already being there really helps you to be able to come up with ideas. Sometimes it's daunting just looking at FL and it being a blank slate, but when you bring in vocals or, you know, a loop from your friend or just some other idea, it can really help you be able to come up with something, even if you take out what you originally started with. You can also do this with samples. Like if you find a sample on YouTube of a song you like, download it, build something around it, and then remove the sample, and then you don't even have to clear anything, because even though your idea was inspired by the sample, ideally, like, it's going to come out sounding very different than the sample. People don't get percentage on stuff just because of inspiration. Another thing to help with beat block is, and this is something that I've already said in a lot of videos, but if you get bored of making beats, then make loops. If you get bored of making loops, then get loops from your friends and make beats on those. If you get bored of that, make midis. If you get bored of that, work on a drum kit or some other type of kit, one-shot kit. If you get bored of that, do content stuff, make a TikTok, make a YouTube video. There's really just so much stuff that you can do as a producer, you know, with it being your career or a hobby. You can also spend a lot of that time, you know, finding new artists, listening to music for inspiration. There's just a lot of ways to be productive that aren't even necessarily sitting down and making a beat. I know that this video is on getting over beat block, but really I feel like just doing other stuff is one of the most helpful things. You know, even give yourself a break. Go watch a movie or something. Go maybe see the sun. I don't know. I don't really do that. But if you guys want, you could go see the sun. That might help. But here, I'm gonna make it up right now. I'm gonna make up another way to beat beat block. Flip your old loops into stuff. Go back through all your old beats, and it'll remind you how you used to be fucking terrible, and now you got so much better. Oh, make new genres, dude. Try it. Just make some shit for fun. Like, I know it's easy to get locked in just making infinite trap beats, and don't overthink. Stop being a perfectionist. Like, you're better off just doing whatever you want, and sure, there's times to be a perfectionist, but you know, sometimes you just gotta throw shit at the wall, just click in some random velocities on a hi-hat and see what happens. right, let's put some melody around this. Oh, I get to plug my kit. Let's go. Guys, I made a kit. You haven't heard about it. Well, you have heard about it, but it has infinite phrases. It has like 136 phrases or something. They're all in the same key. And if you want to beat beat block, you could just get my kit, and that might help too. More phrases. Well, that doesn't work. All right, let's get some bass in here. I'm gonna use a one shot. That's a bass. If you guys want to get my kits, that's cool, but also make your own kits too. Go back through all of your beats and loops and stuff and bounce out all of the little special sounding parts, and then before you know it, you'll have a kit of like 200 little ear candy things that you can put in other beats, because there's no shame in reusing a little sound or a little melody you did. Alright, now I don't know what all this is, but once you make something weird, then sometimes you can flip it back into something that isn't as weird. Now, I don't know if this will work for this one, but you know, just duplicate it out. You know, you got everything playing, and then you just make some stems over here. And now we can arm it by clicking this little red thing and hitting Alt R and bounce it out. And maybe we can turn it into something that's, you know, full circle, not weird anymore. Probably not, honestly, but you know, we might as well try. That is another good tip, you know, try flipping stuff that you already made, you know, try, see what does it sound like when we slow it down. That's pretty sick. What about this? What's it talking about now? No, I don't like that. All right, maybe you can't flip the weird things back into being normal, but sometimes you can. Sometimes you can, and that, you know, you might as well try. I have a lot of beats where they started with something really stupid and then they morphed into something less stupid. I don't know if I have any more things to help with beat block. Start beats in different ways. Start one with drums, start one with chords, start one with counter melodies, start one where you voice memo you singing and then put that in a beat. Work with your friends, having, you know, whether it's on Discord or in real life or your imaginary friends, you know, making music with friends really helps. Because if I'm burnt out, I could go make stuff with Pario and he's probably not burnt out, so it cancels out, you know, or vice versa. With all that being said, the number one thing to beat block is to go outside. This video is just for the people who like don't want to go outside, but I appreciate you guys for watching. We'll be back at it next week and the next week after that and every single week with new videos. Goodbye.